I wasn't around to witness the extinction of the dinosaurs, nor
Hmm.
was I there to see the death of the final saber-toothed tiger. But
They
boy,
cooked, cooked. Uh-oh. Hmm. Wait, what the fuck? What am I playing? It is deceptive. You will own nothing and be happy. Mm. Change the legislation, yeah. This is why emulation will never die. Be happy, bro. Hmm. Mm-hmm.
The idea of something.
Huh. That's a good point.
You're clear to engage all hostiles.
Probably should have got out the car and shot him. Use the car's cover. If somebody else shot me, then I probably would have I don't know. Yeah, I played that wrong. No one's using physical copies, exactly. Unfortunate. They clearly have data on this, that's why they're making a decision. Right.
2 years because of this trend that we've been seeing of just
Right.
Until a
Ball has, man. Nice, sucked with the money.
Enemy UAV overhead. Friendly loadout is on the way.
Nope. This guy's name is main user with an A. Bot.
Like I said, I think the preference is shifting.
Yes.
as a work machine. You can do other things on the PC as well, and I think you can improve it and upgrade it at a lower cost than whenever you would have to.
That's the use case for HDL PC.
Improve. Like if you
Supply box is located. Move to secure.
Yes, man.
Supply box secured. Move to the next one.
I asked the community what they thought it would take to fix Warzone, and after reading like almost 100 different replies, I thought I'd kind of put together those ideas along with some of mine. People don't agree on what would fix Warzone, and there are a lot of people that are up in the air on whether or not there is anything that can fix Warzone. So we'll go ahead and discuss a lot of those types of things. After reading a lot of the responses, I think there's a few different things that just continually pop up or kept coming up over and over. These are things that sometimes I've agreed with, maybe not all of them, but a lot of these things are continually repeated things that I wonder if just the COD side doesn't care, whoever's in charge is doesn't aware of these issues. The number one thing I think, at least in my opinion, is that Warzone has an identity crisis. I said this since Warzone 2, even though I think they've done a bunch of other things to try and solve this issue. I think fundamentally it has an identity crisis. It has an accessibility issue for new and returning players. I think the playlist options are horrendous, which a lot of people talk about those. A lot of people talk about how casual versus sweat dynamic works. Obviously, we have a bunch of casual modes, so I'm not talking about those modes. I'm talking specifically about the players. How does a casual player enjoy the game when it feels like it's getting geared towards sweats, which they really shouldn't be? It should be able to coexist. Another big thing that came up over and over is that Warzone should be standalone. And this is something that has been echoed and repeated over and over since, probably MW2, and they went and decided to do Warzone 2. We really, should have kept it with that organic core of that Warzone 1, which was those first 2.5 to 3 years. And then the other idea is that maybe people are just over BRs. Maybe the BR category has peaked. They've been around long enough, which there is also an argument for that. Even though there are some successful battle royales right now, all of them are older than Warzone. Welcome back. So we'll go ahead and start off with that first point that I was making, which is the Warzone lost its identity. When it first came out, it was grounded sandbox battle royale, but done the COD way, which I loved. It was pretty immersive. It was tactical, but it was fast. So it was a little bit different than, say, PUBG or Apex or even Fortnite, the way you played it. It was super easy to understand, pretty straightforward. The way the loot worked, the created class, the loadouts was all pretty straightforward. Especially if you ever played a COD before. And then it was also distinct from multiplayer. There was also several systems that were done in multiplayer that didn't work in multiplayer, and I think were some of the some downsides to Modern Warfare 2019 that worked amazingly well in Warzone, and some later they got removed because I don't think they worked all that great, and it got fine-tuned. Currently, the version of Warzone, it seems like it changes every year. The movement philosophy is completely different. You think you got an idea of what they're going to do movement-wise or pacing-wise, and then they just do something different. And then the next year it's something different. And it doesn't really feel like it has that core foundation that it used to have. That when we had the Cold War version, it built off the first iteration without scrapping that foundation. The same thing with the Vanguard version. And then once we went to Warzone 2, it was like, oh, let's just flip this on its head. We're going to strike lightning in a bottle twice. Which in reality it didn't work out. They should have really stuck to that dedicated split off game. You do its own thing and you build off that one and evolve it. Just the same way PUBG, Apex have done. Not to say that those games don't have their highs and lows, but you know what you're expecting from those types of games. When you go to PUBG, if you played it 5, 7, 10 years ago, you could jump on now and you already kind of know what you're getting out of the experience. Of course, things are different. Of course, they found ways to evolve. Because you can, but still that foundation, that core foundation that makes the core game is the impactful part. Same thing with Apex Legends. How they tend to evolve is add new, legends, maybe change the way the maps are formatted, and maybe, how certain characters work together and synergize. That gameplay's evolution. Maybe they added that resurgence mode. There's different things that they've done, but the core foundation of the game is still kind of locked in with the type of game it is. Fortnite does it their own way. I don't think it's the fact that Warzone has evolved it being a problem. I think it should have evolved. Every successful live service game has to evolve. Otherwise, you get kind of stagnant and your players decide to leave because there's not really a reason to play. The issue with Warzone is they continue to replace that foundation, especially after that Vanguard year. They've really changed that core experience like 10 times since then. We've only had like 5 games. So it's kind of like, what the hell are you supposed to do as a newer returning player when the game is fundamentally different than when you initially played it. I will give them a little bit of credit here, not a ton. MW3 got pretty close to the original, and that was about as good as it was going to be. But then again, instead of building off of that version, which like a lot of the COD community felt like was the peak version since the MW2 era on, and maybe started to continue to incorporate some of those things that worked so well within the Warzone 1 section to make the perfect version of Warzone and evolve that with that strong foundation. Nope. Gutted it. Got BO6 version, Omni movement, which I enjoy, but I understand that that doesn't work for the core foundation of Warzone. Although I think that works for the yearly cycle of multiplayer, zombies, campaign, whatever, which we'll talk a little bit more in depth. It doesn't really work for the free-to-play long-term Warzone. And that's kind of an issue. And the community continued to talk about this in the comments. It was a very common topic that Warzone needs to be standalone. And what that means is going back to having a core foundation, and this is the version we're building off of. At any point, even though I'm pretty much in the know on COD, I don't know what direction it's going. And that's not good. You're like, obviously I would be like one of the most invested in where it's going. And the fact that I don't know where it's going, that doesn't give you a lot of faith in that. Obviously in multiplayer, it'd be different. If I was covering multiplayer, then I'd go, okay, well, at least I kind of have an idea of what they're going to do. And then the theme will matter. If it's going to be MW4, okay, well, it'll probably take place in the 2000s somewhere. Like, we can get a general estimate. Warzone, no clue. I have no clue if we'll even have Warzone, right? Maybe they go all in on DMZ and it's a full version this time around instead of the beta they kept around for the whole year. Who knows? This would also allow them to preserve that identity, but you got to have that identity first. But I feel like that still got lost. Even where we're at right now, I think the game could be a lot of fun, but it doesn't match that identity, and it doesn't really have that identity where you know that this is how the game will be forever, roughly, like PUBG or Apex. There's ways to improve it and expand it and evolve it, but they've taken it way too far where we don't even have that core thing. And this was even compounded worse when we went to COD Next. They were really hush-hush, and I was like, this is kind of a bad sign. We get there, and it's like, all right, we're only going to cover this year's annual title, and
I'll be searching.
which became a big selling point at the time that really propelled it above the competitors. And
It was. And I think that's what made, like, that changed me from being an Xbox fan to being a PlayStation fan, personally.
they made it clear with PS4 that physical was something they valued greatly, and like the importance of being able to
unfortunate.
Positive ID on the bounty target.
Well, here's what happened. Like, I mean, this is just the truth. People stopped buying physical copies. They stopped buying physical copies. They stopped using physical copies. And now it doesn't make sense to make them anymore. Like, I don't understand.
Oh.
Consuming food, like, shopping.
off, man.
You have
All of these people on the right, even the ones who you think are the worst in the red pill sphere, whatever you want to call it, they have something to offer. That's not really the case.
Awful shooting.
In the female podcast space. First off, I want to just address something. It's not lost on me that there are quite a few commentators, hosts out there who are tone deaf. And a lot of them are insulated from some of the hardships that you may run into. Many Americans are, and I get it. Gas prices are high for young Americans. The prospects of future employment can be kind of harrowing. They look a little bit bleak. I get it. And we do need to have a dialogue about that. But I will ask you to consider something. The problems, the plight that is faced by black actresses and black athletes in the United States. It's time for Call Me Daddy.
Oh, he shoots threes on and off the court. And I'm like,
professional.
Don't love your job. Job your love.
And our bodies and our looks. It's
because of male.
For me, nigga. Smokes. Thanks, and then I die.
Can you off enough?
Facts.
a woman, and it has an expiration date. And I don't mean that, like any degrading kind of way. It just means that we all age. Okay, that happens. That's a fact, right?
Yes,
it just is. And you're spitting in the face of God saying, no,
right.
I don't want the superpower that you gave me that will lead to the most fulfillment that you've ever had in your life. I'm going to wait until it's too late to do any of that. And when men go, we actually don't want what you have now.
And how do you spend that long figuring yourself out? And then you're in your 30s and 40s on a podcast just talking about sex and hair. What kind of a journey was that?
The bad one. But they want everybody else to go on it so they can feel like I did the right thing.
Do you think that fertility matters at all? Do you think that
yes.
Do you think that plays a role in biological attraction? Do you think it plays a role in starting a family? Okay. Age is kryptonite to fertility. That's a fact. It would be like Superman saying, a lot of people say that I'm actually at my worst with kryptonite, but what they don't know is actually I'm at my best with kryptonite. What the hell are you talking about, Clark?
Doesn't make sense.
And why does everyone have kryptonite?
Patrice O'Neill had a great quote about how women age. Kind of profane. Can I say it?
Well, sure, it's Patrice.
Yeah,
O'Neill. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything else.
He goes, pussy don't age like wine, and age like bread.
Jeez.
What do you mean? That's a brilliant quote. That should be on his headstone.
Going back to not brilliant, let's go back to this Chloe dame, and I use that term loosely. She also lamented that she and her sister would need to style their hair, and this is a common thing that they in a less black way to get roles, because that's what casting agents are looking for. I want a black chick, but I want white hair.
Do they ever go for your looks or your... Yeah, I mean, we're two black girls with locks in the industry. It's not, I mean, now it's becoming more mainstream, and I'm really happy to see that. I really am.
You have half a jacket on.
It wasn't cool to be young black with short little locks. Like, I remember sometimes being in school,
matters.
like...
She's like a relief pitcher keeping her arm warm.
I was 4, and we had to do a...
Doesn't he get back in the fucking heli?
identified. Weapon free. Enemy UAV overhead. Yeah. All bounty targets destroyed. Hell of a shot. Safe zone relocated.
That's fucking close. Oh man, why'd I fall in the water? Oh. Off.
Self
Loadout drop headed your way. Bounty targets are up. Get after them.
NBA over the necessary threshold they needed. Now people are watching.
Oh, so
now
use
we
the white
realize,
girl
oh,
and
there's
kick her out.
talent in the W. Talent that's actually even greater than Caitlin Clark.
No.
Caitlin got necessary
That
eyes
can't be
there.
objective, sorry.
But now that the eyes are there, we don't necessarily need her anymore. Let's just go Old Testament of the book. Moses.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
The Israelites needed Moses to get past the Red Sea. After we got past the Red Sea, appreciate you. We don't
What
really
a
need
hateful-
you no
what a
more.
hateful-
Oh, is he a black
Obviously,
Hebrew
there's a lot
Israelite?
of nuance
He's just
in there,
a
but the
racist
fact
piece
the
of
matter is,
garbage.
he didn't know. ultimately get them to the promised land. Unless we
yes, he
can
did.
take off our gloves for Caitlin Clark and stop trying to act like she's a messiah, the WNBA
What a racist piece of shit.
and would be better off without Caitlin Clark, at least without this version of everybody coddling and caressing and catering to Caitlin Clark.
Really quickly, let me just take that. He goes, since she got the necessary eyeballs, now we don't need her. That's what he's describing is what people refer to, or commonly did, using, exploiting someone, taking advantage, and then discarding them, disregarding their humanity, to be clear. So let's use, she got eyeballs, and then we don't need her anymore. Well, what do you think happens when she goes away? Same thing that we see happening now when she's not playing, only do that over seasons. They take for granted that it'll always be this good. Now apply that same mindset to the United States of America. Yet we're better off that there was a civil war, that we were freed. I mean, if we went to the old country, right? If we went to the motherland, we went back to the cradle of civilization, we would be enslaved again. So, you know, we're glad you fought for... our freedom, we got that, we got the right to vote, but since we don't need you anymore, now we're going to do our own thing.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a white golf broadcaster when Tiger was at his peak? First time he, flipped his truck and said, you know what, we got what we need out of him. Golf's bigger than ever.
Right.
Yeah, we don't need
Get rid of him.
Yeah.
That
On the gravel driveway behind Dig.
was saying here. that was way harder than it needed to be. What was that?
and the fence. He is evasive.
Do you know how he's got that wound then? How's he got that wound?
What wound, sorry?
Well, he's got. You said he's got blood on him. How's he?
It must have been where he punched him, but he did fall over here, so he was climbing all over these bins and stuff like that. And then fell over and then that.
Yeah, it was the...
Curry. my god, bro! Shoot the other guy!
What happened? Henry Novak, 18-year-old. It is continuing. With an
What is going on here?
As soon as these things happen,
this
right?
is
As
shit,
soon as
yeah,
a, as soon as a
carrots, grapes.
a baby to death, or as soon as a black guy carves up a deaf guy's eyes, you know, as soon as there's a gang inquiry about Pakis
raping
white women, as soon as these things happen, the media immediately starts to try to cover up the story. Like, isn't that insane? Because the vast majority of people do not use social media the way that we use it, okay? They're not in a based goth stream chat learning about what's really happening in the world, getting to the bottom of these stories. They're not on Twitter. They're Facebook users. They're not on Twitter. They don't use X. They don't go to X. They don't try and find the stories as they're happening. They're not showing up in their FYP. They're not doing anything. Like, they're not getting their information from alternative news websites that actually covers the shit as it's happening. They're not. The only information they ever get is from BBC News or ITV News or Sky News, all of these British outlets, and it's only these outlets that decide exactly how much the British public is exposed to. Henry Novak? No one heard about it. No one knows. Gang inquiry? Nobody knows. Stephen Ogilvy? Nobody knows. All of these victims that have been raped by packs of migrants, all of these teenagers that have been stabbed by gangs of blacks roaming around London, they don't report on it. There is so much that the normie does not know about what's happening in their country, and it's because the moment it breaks, you have mainstream media immediately trying to suppress the story. Immediately trying to suppress the story. The only thing I ever heard anything come out about the gang inquiry was this. It's not entirely credible. That's it.
a 30-minute compilation of Hassan Piker's history of misogyny. This
Really? What? Is he 12? The fuck? Real? Hey, yo.
From former fellow classmates. However, this was a post in the r-destiny subreddit, and I'm not going to trust that right now.
So he's being very fair.
Will say though that you're the average of the 5 people
Oh, man.
you surround yourself
Absolutely.
with. And based on the
I say
negative
that all the
reputation of this frat house, I doubt that Hassan was completely innocent
Of
here.
course.
After graduating, Hassan quickly got hooked up with
Like, I'm sorry, if I see a house of terrorists, I'm not going to assume one guy in the house of terrorists isn't a terrorist, because otherwise, why are you in that house of terrorists?
a job by his uncle Cenk Uygur at the Young Turks. He wasn't
Oh, bro, if he brings up Cenk Uyghur's
Yeah. What the fuck was that? I can't go over a fucking hill. What the hell was that, bro? Based. There's no fucking way. That's hilarious. Oh, where did he find a gun? That's so annoying. He was so close to dying as well. That's like one bullet. That's the only reason why I lose that. Okay.
For the eyes of the intent. Son, I would love to hang in Diddy Sirak entourage and trickle down bang anything thrown. His way. Wait, what? Yup. You wanna know?
trolling. I'm not trolling. I'm not trolling. I'm not trolling. Oh yeah. The white girls deserve to be raped. Take. No way, Tectone has never had that. That's crazy. Asmongold always refers to this.
There's a lot of people who just hate sex work. They'll adopt the aesthetics of someone who actually cares about the well-being.
Who's this level 1000?
Of sex workers, but they're
I don't give a fuck about anybody's rights if they're a sex worker.
Giving money to a sex trafficking ring. Hassan tries to perform damage control on his brothel visits.
First of all, it's in 2016. I don't know what's going on in a brothel. You know what I mean? Like, I'm supposed to know what could.
Pause. Fuck.
happen in the future.
You don't know what's going on in that.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Guys. It's 2016. Hassan Piker. I wonder how old Hassan Piker was in 2016. I would like to remind you that.
Supply box secured. Two to go. Supply box is secured. One remaining.
I just keep getting cocked early game by some bullshit and I just... I don't have Uber Eats on here. That's insane.
Obviously, she still promotes this liberal, multicultural view of what the police should be. And the fact that she's clearly like a 5'3" woman, a slim 5'3" woman, it hasn't impacted on her at all. It hasn't got through the conditioning yet. Let's watch.
And people obviously didn't know. And the frustration is that nobody else was there apart from the people in that video, so no one else knows what happens, but yet people are commenting on it and giving their opinions.
But that online commentary continued even when the full video of what happened to PC Ward was played in court.
Well, I wonder why the online commentary continued. 5'3" slim woman just got her face punched in by a Muslim man. And remember, it took months for this to come to trial. They delayed this as much as they could. And they tried to avoid giving them the trial as much as they could. And everyone's like, right, okay, there are a few problems here. One, that man. But two, are you, a frontline police officer, able to deal with these problems? And the answer was no, which is why after you'd got sparked, the male police officer who was with you had to grab him, throw him to the ground, didn't he taser him actually, and then kicked him in the head. And it was the kick in the head that originally went viral, but that was completely justified. But he had to, he was attacked from the back as well, if you watch the footage. So it's just like, right, okay, that could have gone way worse. And it could have gone way worse because you weren't physically capable of standing up and doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing. Like, this is just a hard fact of life. And, I mean, I'm not saying I would do it better. But then don't hire me to be a police officer.
It just felt like people were, you know, she's useless, she should have done more. Nothing. prepares you for being punched in the face.
The empathy that they think they have to show. This is the two-tier policing in action, and it got her nose broken. And even after that, she's like, no, we need to show empathy to that guy on the worst day of his life. You don't know that was the worst day of his life. You do know that he was punching 2 women in the face.
There's a place for women in policing in all manner of different roles. And there is some women that, you know, are even better in them sort of situations than some men.
No, I don't really believe it, to be honest. I just don't think there are. And I think given any particular situation, you would prefer to have a man in that situation than a woman, because it is just the fact of the matter that men are stronger than women and generally bigger. And even those ones that aren't are still, they still have muscular advantages. They still have other advantages. There's a whole series of ways men are physically stronger than women. And even some of the strongest men in the world aren't stronger than like average men. And so it's just like, this liberal, multi-culty, wishy-washy, John Lennon's imagined philosophy of, oh, well, anyone can do anything if they want. Policing's about empathy. No, it's not. But notice how she hasn't changed her mind. She got slugged in the face by the diversity. Nose broken, bleeding on camera. On camera. And she's like, no, policing's about empathy. Policing's about making sure women are on the front.
Yeah. No, I didn't. Man, that's so
No, I don't think they are. I'm not saying there is no role
bro.
for women in the police. I mean, obviously, you're going to want like victim support officers and women police officers who deal with like incidents in women's spaces or things that are specifically about women. There are going to be tons of things, like some event in the women's changing rooms or something. You want to send a women police officer in there, whatever. Right? There are going to be plenty of reasons that women police officers need to exist. But as frontline officers who have kinetic contact with the public, I'm not persuaded by this. I'm just not persuaded. And I think it's mad how she got her nose broken by this guy and it's still like, well, the problem is people being sexist online. It's like, no, I'm not sure it is. I think if the police were a bit more sexist, then this wouldn't have happened. And this whole thing, you wouldn't have had your nose broken. This other woman wouldn't have been punched to the floor. And the male police officer wouldn't have been attacked in the back because the situation would have been handled. If that were 3 men rather than a man and 2 women, none of this would be happening.
Accusations have come too about so-called two-tier policing.
It's frustrating because me, myself, and anybody that I've worked with, we do not go out, every day looking to target a certain group of people or anything like that. We just go out, we do our job. If you've done something wrong and you need arresting, then you need arresting, and it doesn't matter what background you're from.
Was there ever a point?
Yeah, but the thing is, you'll choose some.
Like, just stop this on board, I guess. That's why it's just dying to absolute shitters now.
Someone who didn't do something wrong to be arrested, and those people who did something wrong, you won't arrest. Like, it's not like you go out thinking, oh, we're going to go two-tier police today. It's that you have an intrinsic bias that engendered into you by your training so that you don't even realize you have a bias. Like, it's just, everyone can see it. We've seen it a dozen times.
Where you thought of not going back to policing?
I think there was some frustration after it had happened, maybe. Slight bit of anger. I felt like in this job you can't win. That's how it feels some days. You just can't win. Like, if like, you can never make the right decision because there's always going to be somebody to complain about something or say in hindsight you should have done this better. I think I'm different, but I think
I'm not up for this police thinking of themselves as the victims mentality either. Oh, we just can't do anything right. No, there were things you could have done, but you were too small to do them. Like, you weren't the right person to be doing that job because of genuine physical reasons. And falling back on this, oh, well, I just feel like I can't do anything right. It's like, this is the wrong attitude. Right? This is the absolute wrong attitude for the police to have. And I don't approve of it at all. At all, actually. I think this is putting other people in danger, fundamentally, is what the issue is with this. Like, if there was no particular danger and this was just, I don't know, putting out cakes at a bake sale or something, and people are like, I don't like these cakes, and other people are like, I can't do anything right. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But this is the sort of attitude that's actually going to be putting people in danger. If you're feeling very emotional about a thing, and a guy whips out a knife, and you're like, okay, I can't restrain him, I can't stop him, and now my feelings are the primary concern that I'm going to bring to the table here. Like, I just don't think that you're actually the public servant that you think you are.
I think in some ways, yes, it probably will always have an impact on me, that I'll always, when I go to attend an incident as a police officer, have it in the back of my mind, okay, things can escalate, things can get out of control very fast, and, you know, you never actually say.
But now, as a new...
Then why be a police officer? If that's something you're afraid of, you know it's going to happen, then being a police officer isn't for you. Like, doing something else is for you. I mean, look at her little hands, man. She's got little soft hands with rings on. It's like, yeah, this is I'm not trying to be mean. I'm really not trying to be mean. I feel bad for this woman because she's had this ideology put into her head that men and women are appropriate for every role. Like, I don't really want men in nurseries, right? I don't think men should be looking after children. But then I don't really want women as frontline police officers getting their faces smashed in by criminals. I don't want that either. I realise that makes me some sort of retrograde throwback, but I just can't feel it's wrong. I just can't feel that there is something wrong with the world when we think each person is interchangeable and is actually not crafted by nature to do something. I mean, just look at her little hands. That just strikes me as so much wishful thinking that underpins all of this. And I just don't agree with it at all.
Mum, she has returned to the job, still with questions.
But she's a mum. She's just had a baby. Why is she now working as a police officer? Isn't there someone in your world who wants you more than the rest of us? Like, isn't there someone more important than going and being a police officer?
I want to understand, I would have liked to have understood why he did what he did. And I want him to understand how him doing that impacted my life.
Do you think he gives a shit? Look at him. Look at him. You're lucky he didn't murder you. Oh, I want empathy from him. He's not going to give you empathy. Like, no male police officer is looking at this guy and being like, well, I want him to know how it impacted my life. This is not a career for women. I'm so sorry. But this is, like, allowing her to be a police officer feels like a form of abuse, right? It feels like a form of abuse to me. Because I'm sure a male police officer's like, yeah, I had a fight with this guy. Managed to get him down, broke my nose. It was pretty rough. You know, had to get my nose set. But I understood why he did it, because he's a man and a criminal. And she's like, why won't he be empathetic to me? No, mad. Completely the wrong kind of person to be dealing with hostile criminals. Just, I'm sorry. And I don't mean to be mean about it, but you're absolutely mad. I would never let my daughter do this. I'd never let my wife or daughters do it. But no, that's mental. Absolutely mental. Like, where's her father?
Maybe for him to take some responsibility for what he's done.
He's fucking... You're never going to get contrition from this man. Never are you getting contrition from this man. He's never going to care that he hurt you. And he would do it again. You don't understand.
fucking drive. Go away, bro. These people, you have different expectations out of these encounters than men do, for a start. But for it's also a lot of other women, I imagine. Like that is